Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Hey Dad RC. The other day I posted a video of my first run with the ECX Temper Gen 2. That first run had been a while in the making, so before I get to anything about the first run or the things that I've already done to this 1/18 scale crawler, first off, a couple of weeks ago I tried doing my first running video of this, and as soon as I set it on the ground and I hit the throttle, the front wheels bound up, and all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I snapped a drive shaft on this. Which I had read on different groups that people saying that the drive shafts are a weak spot, but I thought it was really odd for my first run. And what it was, I don't know how well we'll be able to see it, but right in here where the ball goes in, there's a pin that's held in place there. And that pin is held in place by a screw. And out of the factory, that screw was loosened up, which allowed that pin to move around in there. So when the tires started going initially, that pin there stuck out, clipped this housing, which caused it to stop, and resulting in the drive shaft snappage. So, well, I didn't think I'd have to check that out of the box. Guess something to keep in mind. But anyways, I reached out to Horizon Hobby about it, and process from beginning to end. It took a couple weeks with a couple back and forth emails. They gave me no issues on it, and promptly sent out a set of new drive shafts, which are still in the bag, because while I was waiting to hear back from Horizon Hobby, I figured, why not? So I tried some JB weld, and it split right here. Figured, why not give it a shot? So I put the JB weld on there, got it back together, and had set the truck down for a good week or so before I touched it again. So when I did that first run, I was on this drive shaft that I repaired, and so far so good. So I'm just going to keep running that one until it breaks. So on to my initial thoughts running this one. And I know when I do videos like this, I'm a little bit long-winded, so I'm trying to keep it in the back of my head to keep things moving along for you guys at a decent pace. But out of the box stock, I think this thing performed pretty darn well. And I know sometimes on videos it's hard to tell, on crawling videos, how much of an incline you're running in certain terrains. And that, when I had this out the other day on that video, I was out back in a cow pasture, and there's a cow trail that goes from the top down to the bottom of the hill where the creek is, where the cows walk down, to get a drink. And it's pretty steep, and as you could tell that day, it was pretty darn muddy. And I was really surprised how well this thing did. What I did notice first thing, like as soon as I started driving, it was, man, need a lot more steering on this car than how it comes box stock. So that was the first thing that I wanted to take care of. So where to start? I did a few things today to try and help out the steering and overall performance of this truck. And I've gleaned this information. This isn't nothing that I've come up with on my own. There's a lot of guys out there that has videos on this, and Steve at Shen RC, he had a lot of good videos out on his Temper Gen 2. So first things I did, try and get this in here as well as I can. You got little bump stops here, way down here, and what I did was on each side I shaved a little bit off. I didn't want to take too much off, just a little bit will give you a little bit more steering angle. Secondly, what I did was I pulled this cross member bar off here and secured it down and put a slight bend in it right here, so that now when you're getting more throw, that bar is not touching the front pumpkin whatsoever. Alright, other than the obvious thing that I haven't mentioned yet, what else did I do? I also relocated the top shock positions just a little bit. I moved them. There's actually 3 different positions on the front, 4 in the back. I just moved it down one more so it was laying a little bit more flat, hoping that might help with some articulation. As you can see, you can probably tell this is not the stock servo, and this is one of those 20 kilogram servos that you can find on Amazon for 15 or 20 bucks. And I've had this in the bag in my possession for at least a couple of years. I bought it right after I bought my Red Cat Everest Gen 7 because I heard that the servos in that was a weak point. Figured I need to replace it down the line, which I never did. So I decided why not. We'll get that out today. We'll pop this servo on there. And thing is, though, the stock servo horn that came with this, with the Temper, I was going to put it on here, but it will not fit. For this servo, it is a 25 tooth, and that servo horn stock, the plastic one that came with this truck, is a 23 tooth, so that would not fit. This pretty much went right on, and this is another tip that I got off of Steve's videos. Putting this arm on here, you are going to get a little bit of rubbing against that bar that I pulled back out. So got the old Dremel out, and I ground just a little bit of that servo arm off, so that now you've got clearance there. And the only other thing I did was, to me, for a stock ready to run, the tires on the Temper feel really quite soft. At least in my opinion, they seem really soft. But like a lot of other guys have done, they cut the lugs on their tires, and there's multiple ways you can go about doing that. You can do it with a good pair of scissors. I initially tried doing these. I've done them before with. I have several pairs of the Lexan body scissors, and one I use as a junk pair. And I started doing it with this, and it works, but man, it takes a long time. So I got the Dremel out with a cutting wheel and went to town on these. It is a messy endeavor, and even using a Dremel still takes a bit of time. But basically what I did here was I just cut off slices of the lugs so that there was a nice clearance through each set, hoping that this is going to allow these tires to grab and bite just a little bit more than what they did. So I'm really excited to get this thing back out there on a second run with these few improvements, and hope that it does improve the overall performance of this truck. And as you can see with the steering adjustments, turning radius is definitely a lot tighter. I dialed back the dual rate just a touch because I didn't want to break anything, but still a lot more steering throw. So I just thought I'd share real quick with you guys my first thoughts on the first run of this thing. I was really impressed box stock. It did really well out back where it was, but these were some improvements that I've been looking at and doing. Got them all done today, so hopefully here in the next few days I can get this out, get another run out, and let you guys know how I feel about that. And as I look around my room here, I'm looking at all these different cars that I've planned to do more videos on, and time has just not been on my side along with the weather. So hopefully we'll get around to them before the weather gets too bad. But guys, as always, I want to thank you for all taking a little bit of time out of your day to check out my videos. I get a real kick out of that. Everyone stay safe. Until next time, we'll see you around.